All right, so let's go ahead and jump into that Jets-Bengals game to start us off here. The Bengals are 5-2, and they are going to the Jets, who are 1-5. And four of the linebackers are either questionable or on IR for the Jets. Two defensive ends and a safety are also questionable. On the other side of the ball, two tight ends, running backs Tevin Coleman as well, and starting quarterback Wilson will be out for multiple weeks with the sprained PCL. And new trade acquisition Joe Flacco won't be practicing with the team until Friday. So once again, we will have backup Mike White take the field. And the Jets are the only team in the league since 1940 to throw an interception in every single game and not catch a single one this deep into the season. The Jets also have allowed one passing touchdown of 30 yards or more in every game this season, and Joe Burrow has 9 of such passes, and he leads the league in such long touchdown passes. And for the Bengals, injury wise, Trey Hopkins, Trey Hendrickson, and Chris Evans are all questionable. But I'm throwing this one to Tyler. What do you think is going to happen with the Bengals and the Jets?
Yeah, speaking about games that by the time we get to the fourth quarter, they're off TV. This feels like one of those games. You nailed it. I think we're going to see a lot of Jamar Chase early. Bengals are going to have a little bit of fun on play action, throw it deep. But I think the question here that creates problems for me is really the over under. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover 10.5. I don't think that's going to be a problem. The over under is where it gets tricky. The Bengals are averaging 27 points a game this far through the season. The Jets are obviously a terrible defense. The question just becomes, how bad do the Bengals want to pour it on? I could see the Bengals winning this game, 35-3, something like that, and all of a sudden it goes under. So this is one of those over unders that I'm personally staying away from. I think it just, like I said, it comes down to how bad the Bengals want to just kind of run up the score. I could see the Jets getting completely blanked. The Bengals defense has been playing great. In fantasy, that's absolutely start of the week. I know in our league specifically, the Bengals were a big pickup. In leagues I've seen everywhere, the Bengals are kind of one of those teams that you can pick them up and play them against these bad teams, but they've also been pretty steady against most teams. So if you've got the Bengals defense on your roster, most weeks you're able to play them, even against some of these more explosive offenses. I think Bengals, you're playing everybody. If you need a flex and you wanted to throw Samaje Perine in, I don't think it's a bad call. I think he's somebody that can get a lot of work in garbage time. On the Jets side of the ball, I really don't think you're starting anyone. Joe Flacco not playing this week yet. Obviously, if Joe Flacco was playing and they're playing catch up the whole game, I could see trying some of these receiving options, thinking game script could be great. But with White in there and just kind of watching what he did after Zach Wilson went down, he just didn't look like he could do a thing. He looked like a deer in headlights. Maybe a week in practice will help, but I personally don't think so. I don't think there's anyone on the Jets side of the ball I'm starting. But if I'm wrong, correct me, Matt. What do you think?
I don't really think you're wrong about anything here. Um, the Jets are going to be garbage, especially since at this point they had to go sign Joe Flacco, and they're not even going to start him. So from a fantasy standpoint, I personally think Michael Carter is the only person you could start out of desperation on that team, simply because White. What's his first name? Because I honestly do not remember.
Mike.
Mike. Okay, I can remember that. Mike White. Okay. Mike White. Sorry. Mike White, new quarterback for the Jets here. Anyways, so for Mike, he likes to 9 out of his, I think it was 31 passes were all checkdowns to the running backs. Now you got Tevin Coleman out. And on top of that, you also have Ty Johnson that's dealing with a concussion. We're not sure if he's going to play or not. So from a pure volume standpoint, Michael Carter could have some type of volume relevance when it comes to this game. But outside of that, unless they decide to insert Joe Flacco in at the last moment, at that point, maybe the pass catchers have a chance potentially for some garbage time or just like a baseline play. But I agree with Tyler pretty much on every facet here. I do believe the Bengals are going to cover. I'm also going to take the under on this game just because Joe Mixon is going to feast. If there was a DFS play or anything that you want to use around that game, Joe Mixon, I could easily see him at 140 and 2 touchdowns in this game because they're going to control the clock. I feel like this game is actually going to go by pretty damn quick, all things considered, because they're just going to control the clock, take the shots when need be, and just lay it out. I mean, Jake, save us here. Give us something radical to give this game a little bit of spark of hope, because I don't see it.
Yeah, you're asking me to do too much on this one. I'm completely in a line with you guys. I'm taking Bengals and I'm taking the under. This Jets team is just terrible. They're just not a good team at all. And I think Joe Mixon is going to have a great freaking game on Sunday. And then selfishly, I am looking at CJ Uzama. I think he can find a way to get into the end zone. He's not getting a ton of targets, which is my biggest concern. But when he does get targets, it seems like every other one's a touchdown. So just at a shot in the dark, a quick touchdown to kind of start the game. I'm kind of looking for a touchdown there. But other than that, Bengals start everybody. Jets don't start anybody. And that's pretty much all I have for this game.
I think the only thing that scares me with that Uzama play at all is just I could see this being a situation where Joe Burrow doesn't have to throw in the second half at all. I get a little bit nervous about that volume. And if you don't get one of those early touchdowns, it kind of scares me. The reason Jamar Chase is in your lineup anyways, but the reason I have some optimism for Jamar Chase despite that is just all he needs is one, and he needs the deep one. Obviously, Uzama was getting some of that last week, but just the target volume is not there. I think if you have a better option, obviously, if you're sitting in a situation where CJ Uzama is your best tight end, you're not going to bench him against the Jets. But from a DFS point of view and that kind of thing, I just be a little bit worried on the fact that if it hits halftime and you've got 4 points, the game could end and you could still have 4 points.
Yeah, and Matt, just to answer your question of giving a little bit of juice to this game, I mean, the Jets beat the Titans once. Any given Sunday, dude. We're going to go ahead.
Maybe in London.
Thank you for listening to this little highlight of the 2 Minute Drill podcast. If you want to follow along to other games, here's a playlist for you. If you want to listen to the show in its entirety, show links are in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.